Good day. I hope you are all well. Friends, in Genesis 22, we read the history of Abraham and how he was prepared to sacrifice his son Isaac. You know, I really feel for this man, Abraham. He was prepared to leave his father's house and the city where he grew up and to follow a promise for years. And then eventually, through legal ways, he obtained an heir, Ishmael. But then, to maintain peace within his marriage, he had to send Ishmael and his mother away. And then eventually, Isaac was born, the heir to the covenant. And then God requested the life of Isaac. The amazing thing is that Abraham was prepared to sacrifice Isaac. He was prepared to give up his most prized possession. In Matthew 10, Jesus sends his disciples out to go and preach. And he gave them an interesting instruction. He said, "Do not get any gold or silver or copper to take with you in your belts. No bag for the journey, or extra shirt, or sandals, or staff." It seems to me he wanted them to go and practice what he taught them in Matthew 6, where he said to them, "Don't hoard treasures down here, where it gets eaten by moths and corroded by rust, or worse, stolen by burglars. Stockpile treasure in heaven, where it is safe from moths and rust and burglars." It's obvious, isn't it? The place where your treasure is the place you will most want to be and will end up being. Friends, in these unprecedented times where we see how our investments diminishes, where we see how our economies shrinks, where we see how poverty increases, and we see how our chances of getting infected increases, the question is, what is our most prized possession? What is our treasure? Mother Teresa tells the story of a 4-year-old little Hindu boy who heard that she struggled to get enough sugar for one of her orphanages. So the boy went home and he told his parents that for the next 3 days, he's not going to eat sugar. He will save it for Mother Teresa. So 3 days later, the father and the mother and the little boy arrived at Mother Teresa. They've never met her before. She didn't know them. And the little boy could hardly pronounce her name. And he came to bring his savings of sugar for 3 days. You see, he knew exactly what he wanted to do. He wanted to share his love. We're told that at the age of 81, John Wesley walked around in London during the midwinter like a beggar, begging for money that he could use to alleviate the plight of the poor. In our terms, he collected almost $100,000. Paul wrote in 1 Corinthians 13, "Trust steadily in God, hope unswervingly, and love extravagantly." And the best of the three is love. Please join me, and then we pray in the prayer of St. Francis together. Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Where there's hatred, let me sow love. Where there's injury, pardon. Where there's doubt, faith. Where there's despair, hope. Where there's darkness, light. And where there is sadness, joy. O Divine Master, grant that I may not so much seek to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love. For it is in giving that we receive. It is in pardoning that we are pardoned. And it is in dying that we are born to eternal life. Amen.